All right, this is Senegal. Beautiful country, lovely place in Africa, good weather, great food, great culture. Senegalese people do wrestle, okay? They wrestle quite a bit. I spoke about this. But, it's cultural, but they have commercialized it in a way that many people now make a living through wrestling. Lovely human beings, one of the most peaceful countries in Africa.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Crime rate extremely low, if not non-existent. So this country, Senegal, is one of the countries that has never known any wars, any issues, any revolt since the end of colonialism.
You must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. Watch it look.
So if you surely want to go to Africa and have a beautiful time, I suggest you go see Senegal first. Okay? So Senegal has a brand new president. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. Thank you very much for choosing us again. It's such a pleasure. I see you from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda. Thank you so much. Jamaica, Wagwan me boss. And Wagwan me boss. I just had to throw it in. And the USA and the UK. Thank you so much, fellas. YouTube told us as many of you guys watch us, but you're not subscribed. Please subscribe so we can make this much bigger. I know we don't know each other. If this is your first time, thank you for being here, for choosing us. You are at the right place. Yes, we're going to love each other with time. Okay? So today we're talking about Senegal. Again, here's a map. Senegal, beautiful place, lovely people. Senegal has got a brand new president. Yay! His name is Bassirou Diomaye Faye. Young man, 44 years old, good man. He's been blessed. Let me put it this way. Why has he been blessed? This man, you wouldn't believe, 10 days ago, he was in jail. You believe that? 10 days ago, he was in jail. And after 10 days, he went straight to the palace. From jail to straight to the palace. You're talking about reverse story. That is one of the most amazing stories you've ever heard. So Diomaye Faye, great guy. He's also polygamous. Yeah. He's got 2 wives. No. Slow down. It's okay. It's okay. In many African nations, polygamy is okay. It's not as bad as you may think and how many people want to make it sound. It's not bad. They're happy. Let me put it this way for you. The reason why you're happy with monogamy, okay, with all due respect, is because that's the only thing you've known since you were born. And trust me, there are many people that are very happy to be polygamous. Yeah, this is not a discussion. Not all monogamies are happy. They're not. Not all of them. Some of them are, not all. Not all polygamy families are unhappy. Trust me. Some of them are actually very happy. Look at these ladies. Do they look like they're fighting each other? No, they're not. They're happy. They are wives of a president. Anyway, let's continue. Senegal was run by this man. His name is Mwekassa. Like I said earlier, it used to be a beautiful place, one of the most peaceful countries in Africa, until he came into power. That changed because then at that specific moment, many Senegalese people ran into the street to go and fight, to go and be unhappy because of the things that were happening through Mwekassa. Now, who is Mwekassa? Mwekassa is a very good friend of the French people, experts believe. How? Let me give you context. Senegal, like many other African countries, was colonized by French. Yes, they came into Africa. Before they came into Africa, in 1894, Europeans came together and they sat together in Berlin. Why did they sit in Berlin? Because they needed to negotiate on how they're going to go conquer Africa. Why was that necessary? They didn't want to go to Africa and then fight each other for land. So the goal of the Europeans was to come to Africa, each European country to take an African country where they're going to colonize, they're going to loot and steal and take things because everybody knew Africa was rich. But the problem was they didn't want to go to Africa and start fighting each other. Why would they fight each other? Because Europeans have fought each other for centuries. Yeah, they didn't want to repeat that in Africa. That was the reason why they went to Berlin, sat down together. They say, okay, now France, you're going to colonize Senegal, Togo, Benin, Gabon, and many other countries. United Kingdom, you're going to take South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, and stuff, and so on and so forth and so forth. That's how they did it. Senegal was colonized by French. And after the independence, that was in 1960s, they told the Africans, okay, now we're going back to Europe. Because we feel you guys are trained enough, you are intelligent enough to run yourselves. We're going. Officially, they were gone. But unofficially, expert believes they stayed in Africa because they continued to loot. It was important to them to have their hand in Africa. They did do that through many maneuvers, calling, corporations, calling cultural exchanges and many other things. Let me just remind you, many African countries today, they speak French as national language. That's the main language. That's why many Africans in Africa can barely speak their native languages. That's very sad. They talk about civilization. They came to Africa to civilize you.
Mais la beauté de ce qui est arrivé aux Français, c'est qu'il a été volé, constamment réinventé.
This is what Macron said in 2021 as he inaugurated a French cultural center in Rwanda.
You've lost your identity, your religions, your beliefs. Because most Africans today believe everything that related to them and their ancestors and their culture and their customs is witchcraft. Well, some of it may be witchcraft, but is it really witchcraft? No, it's not. But it's okay to believe in the ancestors of other people. Anyway, let's get back to context before I vex you. Okay? Now, why does Senegal have a new president now? Macky Sall, this is Macky Sall. Macky Sall took power and he ran his term fully. Then he ran for his second term.
Devant Dieu et devant la nation sénégalaise, je jure de remplir fidèlement la charge de président de la République du Sénégal.
On the second term, many people believe he didn't quite win the election. It was rigged. We cannot confirm that. Why was Macky Sall contested? Because many Senegalese people believe that Macky Sall worked for the interest of the French.
Le président Macky Sall a trahi.
He has betrayed the spirit of dialogue. He has betrayed the Senegalese people. The base of the social contract is our country's constitution.
Instead of actually working to grow Senegal, to make it a rich country, to help the country and the citizens and the people to flourish, people felt like Macky Sall prioritized French interests before Senegalese interests. And again, let me remind you here that France signed a contract with many African nations saying, even though we're going to leave your countries going back to France, give you independence, we're still going to keep our soldiers on your lands. Yes, these people have been there since 1960s. They're still there, these soldiers. Why are they there? We don't know. Now, the people of Senegal have had enough.
Having this election and choosing a new president can bring us a stable country.
They wanted something brand new. They wanted change. They wanted to have their own currency. Because let me remind you, I've seen it many, many times. The currency used in Senegal, as well as many other African nations colonized by French, is called the CFA franc. And the CFA franc is printed up until today in France. Now, my question is, how can you call yourself a free country if the currency you are working with, you are utilizing for your needs, is printed in another country? Now, this brand new president and his group don't want that anymore. They want to change things. They want Senegal to have its own currency. They want Senegal to have an independent army. They want Senegal to be free of any pressure from any foreign nation.
It is high time for France to lift its knee off our neck and put an end to this unjust oppression. Centuries of misery, human trafficking, colonization, and neocolonization have caused immeasurable suffering. It's time to put an end to this cycle of oppression. It's high time for France to leave us alone. It's time for France to take a cue from its European neighbors and learn a valuable lesson in independence.
Je voudrais reconnaître et saluer l'attachement de notre peuple à la démocratie, à la justice,
Now, I told you earlier that 10 days ago he was in jail. He came straight from jail to the palace. What happened? He was in jail because he was part of a political party that was an opposition party to Macky Sall. Now, before this man was another man named Ousmane Sonko,
the youngest candidate to do so. He came third in that race, but is seen as a key challenger for 2024.
This is Ousmane Sonko, 49 years old. Yes, these are the young people, relatively young people that are trying to change Africa. Ousmane Sonko was opposition, a fierce opposition to Macky Sall. And for many years, he was accused of many things. They say he went to a massage parlor and trying to rape the masseuse, which many people believe it's absolutely absurd. I mean, the guy is good looking and got money. He could get anything he wants. I mean, why do you need a masseuse parlor masseuse? I mean, you could get the engineer woman or somebody in higher level in society. Like, come on, you have some class and some level. They took him to court for that and later found out that he did not do things they accused him of. And while he was in court, many people came down the street. Many young people came down the street angry that he was arrested because they felt the government was playing a game to disqualify him from political run, from the presidential election. So these young people came down the street, they destroyed things, they burned things. And now, instead of the government condemning these people, people. The government jailed him for insurrection. They accused him of being the reason why the kids are restless in the country, and they threw him in jail. And as per Senegalese constitution, if you go to jail for those specific reasons, you cannot run as a president. So many experts believe they were trying to disqualify him by doing that. But what had happened later was completely magical. Now, Ousmane Sonko and Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who's the current president, used to be mates. They used to work together. Now, he said to him, "You are a bright man. We are both in jail, but I cannot run as a president. But you can. So you run. You represent us." They went to the elections and he won. Congratulations again. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who's now the youngest Senegalese president, 44 years old. Your age. You may be older than him. And it's very sad. You see in many African countries that 44 people still playing with other people's children, running after some 20-year-old girl in a corner. Crazy stuff, man. Have some maturity. Kick off your government. Kick them out of the power instead of complaining and running away from your countries and calling Trump racist because he says, stay in your country and fix your country. Or go to the neighboring country at least and be happy. Crazy stuff. So my question is this. Massive question. Mr. Faye was pushed forward by his friend, Ousmane Sonko, because he couldn't become president himself due to the accusation he had legally. Now Mr. Faye has become president. My question number one is this. Is he going to be faithful to the things they promised as a group to the people of Senegal? Or is he going to change like many African presidents do? As soon as they get into power, they forget about you. They say, bye-bye. We're going to be rich, not you. Oh, by the way, I'm going to have a third wife. How about the fourth? Because I can afford it now. Is he going to stay faithful to the goals that he promised to the people? They promised to the people. Or is he going to change? The question number two is this one. Is he going to stay faithful to his friend Ousmane Sonko, with whom they fought, the man that was a leader and later gave him the opportunity to lead, to be the president? Because we've seen it in the past. Thomas Sankara and his friend Blaise Compaoré, they were very good friends. Until power came into the equation, people went into the ears of Blaise Compaoré. They told him, you can do it. You don't need him. You are bigger than him, in fact. You know him. What happened later? It's history. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It's always a great pleasure. God bless.